It is with profound sadness that we inform you of the passing of Professor Naveen Kandi Chaudhary, former Vice Chancellor of Tezpur University and the former advisor, Department of Education, Government of Assam, and distinguished academician of repute. I would like to request everyone present here to please observe 1 minute of silence in his honor. Thank you. May his memory live on through the lives he touched and the legacy he leaves behind. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Honorable Vice Chancellor of KKHSOU, State Open University, Professor Rajendra Prasad Das, Commissioner of Police, Shri Diganta Bora, Director of the Directorate of Higher Education, Government of Assam, Pomi Borua, Convener of the seminar, Dr. Ritimoni Bordogoi, Co-Convener of the seminar, Dr. Dola Borgotaki, Senior officials of the university, faculty members, students, colleagues, and my dear friends. It is my honor to welcome you all to the valedictory session of the National Seminar on Women in Unorganized Sectors. Today, as we conclude this insightful seminar, we gather to reflect on our shared journey and the impactful discussions that have unfolded over the past 2 days. Over the past 2 days, we have explored diverse topics, engaged in insightful discussions, and fostered meaningful collaborations. Today, we gather to celebrate the culmination of these efforts. I would now like to request the Vice Chancellor of Krishnakanta Honigoi State Open University, Professor Rajendra Prasad Das, to felicitate Shri Diganta Bora, Commissioner of Police, Guwahati, with a Phulam Gamusa, a sapling, and a small token of love and appreciation on behalf of the university. Thank you. I would once again like to request the Vice Chancellor of Krishnakanta Honigoi State Open University, Professor Rajendra Prasad Das, to felicitate Pomi Borua, Director of the Directorate of Higher Education, Government of Assam, with a Phulam Gamusa, a sapling, and a small token of love and appreciation on behalf of the university. Thank you, sir. I would now like to invite Dr. Ritimoni Bordogoi, the esteemed convener of the seminar, to kindly provide us with a brief summary of the seminar.
Good afternoon, everyone. Honorable Vice Chancellor, Sir, Professor Arpita, Sir, respected chief guest of this valedictory session, Sri Diganta Bora, IPS, Commissioner of Police, State of Assam, Srimati Pomi Borua, Director, Directorate of Higher Education, Government of Assam, the Register of the University, Directors of the schools, and distinguished resource persons, faculty members, officers, and esteemed participants present here today with us. On behalf of KKHSOU State Open University and as the convener of the national seminar, I, Ritimuni Borole, welcome you all again to this valedictory session of the NCW sponsored today national seminar on women in unorganized sector. It is indeed a great pleasure to organize this seminar in collaboration with the NCW, as the Commission throughout India has been encouraging and offering such kinds of programs for addressing the current issues and challenges related to women. I would also like to state that we have been receiving the financial support from the NCW last 5 years, consecutive years, for holding this webinar, workshops, seminars for the capacity building of women, as well as to have a thorough understanding on women, particularly in the state of Assam. This time, I, along with my colleague Professor Jaideep Borua, who is the chairman of the seminar, and the co-conveners Dr. Dola Borkotoki and Dr. Sangita Kakuti, on behalf of our university, were successful in conducting this 2-day seminar with support from the National Commission for Women on the theme of Women in Unorganized Sectors from 12 and 13 December 2024, for making the stakeholders aware of what are the issues and challenges of women that women are facing in the unorganized sectors, and also to discuss what types of protecting, preventing, as well as promotional securities are provided to these women so far concerned to the government, as well as non-governmental organizations and members of the civil society. From sustenance of the society to performing various roles in the private and public sphere, women have significantly contributed to the society and social change. Women's role in the family, the larger society, and the nation as a whole needs to be acknowledged by all. Therefore, improving their socio-economic status, quality of life are pertinent to the overall development of women. However, various studies at the grassroots concerning women's position in the Indian society have shown that women have most often been discriminated economically, educationally, socially, politically, and psychologically. They suffer from multifaceted discrimination in terms of educational attainments, access to healthcare, economic opportunities, social participation, wage disparity, job category, and so forth. This discrimination has persisted despite various efforts on the part of government or in India in terms of several acts, policies, and schemes to elevate the socio-economic status of women. Therefore, for addressing these pertinent issues more meticulously, we had invited 6 eminent speakers belonging to Guwahati High Court, educational institutions like universities, Guwahati University, JNU, research institutions, organizations like Northeast Network, and Women in Governance in India. In the inaugural session of the seminar, Professor Jaideep Borua, who is the director of Pujya Kumar Bhuya School of Social Sciences and also the chairperson of the seminar, provided an insightful overview of labor force dynamics in India, particularly focusing on gender disparities. He highlighted the significant gap in labor force participation rates between men and women, with the male participation rate at 75.8% compared to a much lower 23% women in the year 2017 and 2018. Professor Borua noted that female labor participation has improved by 80%, while the unemployment rate has shown a declining trend. Professor Borua expressed skepticism whether the improvement in female labor participation truly signals economic progress or merely reflects sustenance-driven employment choices. Despite its critical economic role, the sector is characterized by irregularity, insecurity, and a lack of social security provisions such as paid leave and other benefits. Professor Borua explored whether these features signify progress or pose new challenges. He pointed out that while many economists argue the flexible nature of unorganized sector is as a strength for economic growth, it simultaneously perpetuated vulnerabilities, especially for women. The chairperson raised pressing questions regarding the role of the state in regulating this sector and highlighted whether the increased participation of women reinforces or challenges existing patriarchal structures. It was followed by the keynote speech by Professor Vandana Upadhyay, Professor of Economics, Rajiv Gandhi University, Arunachal Pradesh. The keynote speaker delivered a very comprehensive address on the topic Women in India's Unorganized Labour Market, Insight from Northeast India. She began by contextualizing the informal sector, describing it as comprising unregulated jobs with low wages, poor working conditions, and limited social protections. Women in this sector face gender vulnerabilities, and in Northeast India, the proportion of women in informal employment is notably higher than the national average. Professor Upadhyay emphasized the importance of focusing on Assam, where the economy is heavily dependent on agriculture, handloom, and traditional crafts, areas where women play a very significant role. Despite their significant contributions, women in Assam face compounded challenges such as geographical isolation, inadequate infrastructure, limited access to education, and poor healthcare facilities. The majority of women in the state are employed in the unorganized sector, making their livelihood precarious and insecure. Professor Upadhyay highlighted debates surrounding the recent increase in India's female labor force participation rate, which is about 37%, which reversed a long-term decline. While the rise suggests greater workforce engagement, it also points to distress-induced employment, with women taking up unpaid family work and self-employment in rural areas due to economic hardships. The objectives of her presentation were primarily to examine the dynamics of women's informal employment in Northeast India, analyze workforce participation trends, highlight regional variations and gender gaps, and propose targeted policy interventions. The keynote speech was followed by the address of the chief guest, Honorable Vice Chancellor, Assam University Silchar, Professor Rajiv Mohan Pant. In his address, Professor Pant provided a thought-provoking analysis of women's plight in the unorganized sector. He questioned whether India ever had an empowering ecosystem for women and presented a historical framework by dividing India's timeline into three phases, that is, Swarnakal, Ishatkal, and Amritkal. He explained that during the Swarnakal, women enjoyed rights and empowerment exemplified by figures like Ganga, Durga, and Sita. In the Ishatkal, foreign invasion and adverse circumstances relegated women to the confines of homes, leading to exploitation and marginalization. In the current Amritkal, that is post-independence, India aims to revive its age-old strengths and reinstate the dignity of women as equal participants in the nation building. Professor Pant emphasized that inclusive development is essential for national progress and underscored the importance of involving women in every aspect of development. He concluded with a powerful quote by Napoleon Bonaparte, "Give me good mothers, I will give you a good nation," to highlight the inclusion of women for the development of the nation as a whole. Honorable Vice Chancellor of our university, the Krishnakanta Handek State Open University, Professor Rajendra Prasad Das, delivered the presidential address. In his address, Professor Das highlighted how the collaboration between the university and the NCW in addressing the contemporary challenges faced by women in the unorganized sector is of great importance. He noted that 94% of the female workforce in India is engaged in this sector, often under poor living and working conditions. Professor Das pointed out the lack of unionism, which leaves women in this sector without a voice or access to basic rights such as paid leave and social security. He stressed that whether illiteracy and ignorance prevail, exploitation thrives. To combat these disparities, he underscored the importance of education as the key to empowerment and sense. By advocating for collaborative efforts to address these issues, Professor Das reinforced the seminar's focus on creating inclusive and sustainable solutions for women in the unorganized sector. The inaugural session set a thoughtful and analytical tone for the seminar, addressing critical issues related to women's participation in the unorganized sector. Through diverse perspectives and data-driven insights, the session emphasized the need for gender-sensitive policies, inclusive development strategies, and targeted interventions to bridge gender gaps and improve the conditions of women in the workforce. The inaugural session concluded with a vote of thanks delivered by Professor Pranjit Bora, Registrar of this university, who expressed gratitude to the distinguished speakers, participants, and organizers for their contributions to a meaningful and engaging discussion. He acknowledged the support to the NCW and the collaborative effort of all the stakeholders in making the seminar a success. Dr. Tisha Dwara Borua as the anchor during the inaugural session of the seminar. In the first technical session, the speaker of the seminar was Professor Ramesh Bharpatra Guha, who is the ex-Advocate General of Assam, who delivered on the topic Human Rights-Based Approach, Policy, Legal Framework, and Labor Code for Protecting Women in Unorganized Sector. Professor Guha delivered an insightful lecture focusing on the importance of a human rights-based approach to address the challenges faced by women in the unorganized sector. He began by emphasizing the universality and timelessness of human rights, tracking their evolution from ancient ideas of equality to modern legal frameworks. He discussed how the formation of United Nations was inspired by a Vedic worldview, envisioning the world as a harmonious global place where all individuals, irrespective of caste, creed, religion, have equal opportunities for survival. Professor Guha questioned whether humanity is truly on the right path to achieving a peaceful and equal life. He highlighted the role of the UN in combating discrimination and promoting equality. Pointing to the adoption of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights on the December 10, 1948, and outlined its key freedoms, rights, equality principles, and prohibitions. These include the freedom of expression, thought, religion, and association, the rights to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, equality before the law, and the prohibition of slavery, torture, and other degrading treatment. Professor Guha then examined the incorporation of these principles into India's constitutional framework, noting that while the Universal Declaration of Human Rights was adopted in 1948, India formally legislated its principles under Article 253 of the Constitution only in 1993. Similarly, the Convention on the Elimination of All Forms of Discrimination Against Women, adopted by UN in 1979, which was ratified in India only in 1993. He further underscored the role of institutions like National Human Rights Commission and the National Commission for Women in promoting human rights and gender equality. He emphasized that the NCW focuses on popularizing human rights through education to foster harmony, disseminating relevant literature to reach all sections of society, and prioritizing education and health for vulnerable groups, particularly women. He concluded by highlighting the gap between the ideals of human rights and their practical implementation in India. Professor Guha urged the younger generation to take proactive steps to bridge the divide, particularly in addressing the challenges faced by women in the unorganized sector. His lecture served as a powerful reminder of the collective responsibility to uphold human dignity and equality in every sphere of life. The speaker of the second session was Dr. Sashwati Chaudhary, the Director Research at Omyo Kumar Das Institute of Social Sciences and Development, deliberated on the topic entitled Unequal Pay, Understanding Gender Discrimination in Unorganized Sector. In her lecture, Professor Chaudhary developed into the pervasive issues of gender discrimination and unequal pay in India's unorganized sector, highlighting the structural and socio-economic challenges faced by the women workers. She began by explaining the distinction between the organized and unorganized sectors, emphasizing that while the organized sector includes activities carried out by corporate enterprises and government bodies with structured wage labor and unionization, the unorganized sector is predominantly composed of rural and urban informal labor. Over the last few decades, the unorganized sector has grown significantly, with women playing a vital yet often unrecognized role within this structure. The distinction between paid and unpaid labor, which surfaced with the introduction of census records, has further marginalized women's contribution, rendering them invisible in official statistics. The lack of comprehensive data on women in the unorganized sector compounds these issues, hindering effectively policy formulation. The COVID-19 pandemic revealed this inadequacy when reverse migration of unorganized workers, including women, left the government unable to provide immediate relief due to the absence of relevant data. The speaker of the third session, which was last session of the first day of the seminar, that is on 12th, Professor Chandan Kumar Sharma, Department of Sociology, Tezpur Central University, deliberated on the topic entitled Women's Equality and Empowerment Framework, contextualizing the possibility to implement the influencing factors in the labor market of Assam. Professor Sharma emphasized that while increasing women's participation in the workforce is essential, the broader goal should be to enhance their economic inclusion, which remains significantly lower compared to men. Despite various governmental and societal efforts worldwide, gender discrimination persists and India faces one of the most severe disparities. Professor Sharma argued that achieving women's equality and empowerment is not just a matter of social justice, just a prerequisite for societal progress. Professor Sharma concluded by emphasizing the importance of cooperative governance in addressing these challenges. While political interventions have often disrupted the cooperative spirit, it remains strong in tribal societies and could serve as a model for fostering inclusive development. By leveraging these measures and fostering a collaborative approach, Assam can take a significant stride towards increasing women's participation in the labor market and achieving broader economic inclusion. The speaker of the fourth session, which is held today morning on 13 December, was Professor Polly Pocklin, Department of Women's Studies, Guwahati University. She deliberated on the topic on digital economy and gender gaps in the skills of the future, capacity building for women workers in the unorganized sectors of Assam. Professor Pocklin began her presentation with an overview of the digital scenario in India, which has emerged as a digital powerhouse, becoming the second largest internet market globally and ranking 9th in the e-commerce sector. The speaker mentioned the rural-urban divide and gender-based internet penetration rates in India and pointed out the rural India has witnessed higher growth in the number of women's users compared to men. Gender-specific trends highlight that women's internet users has grown at a faster pace, reflecting a gradual bridging of the digital gender divide. Professor Pocklin pointed out that the rise of the internet users among women in rural India has been transformative. Women are increasingly using mobile devices, holding bank accounts, adopting menstrual hygiene products, and exercising their voting rights. This trend indicates that access to the internet is providing women with the much needed time, space, and leisure for their personal growth and empowerment. The speaker of the fifth session was Amrita Pathak, State Coordinator of Northeast Network. She delivered her lecture on the topic Gender-Based Violence in Unorganized Sectors of Assam, a reflection on health and social security to women. Hazarika addressed the issue of gender-based violence and highlighted the systematic challenges women face in this sector, emphasizing the role of patriarchal structures and the lack of effective social security mechanisms. To touch upon the point, the speaker gave many instances to illustrate how weak power dynamics combined with patriarchal norms leave women vulnerable to gender-based violence. Attitudinal barriers rooted in societal prejudices are identified as a significant factor perpetuating such violence. Despite the presence of local committees, Hazarika noted that these mechanisms fail to adequately support women in the unorganized sector due to historical prejudices and insufficient outreach. Women in unorganized sectors are often forced to remain in violent domestic environment due to financial dependency, threats and survival aids. The speaker of the last session was Professor Nilika Menrutta, Professor of JNU Delhi, but she was unable to attend the seminar, and for which two papers were received. One paper from on unorganized sector, female sex workers vulnerability, submitted by Dr. Midusmita Dwara, Assistant Professor of Social Work of this university, and another paper was done by me on the topic understanding gender differences in the unorganized sectors with special reference to Assam. As a convener of the seminar, I would like to offer my sincere thanks to Honorable Vice Chancellor Sir, Registrar Sir, esteemed members of the core committee and subcommittees of this seminar for their continuous support in holding the seminar. My heartfelt thanks to Dr. Sayonika Roy and Dr. Maureen Kolita for being the reporters in various sessions of the seminar. As a convener of this seminar, most importantly, I would like to offer my sincere thanks to all the participants for their active participation during the deliberations delivered by the eminent speakers in the technical session. So thank you all and see you again. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Rijimoni Bordagal. Your reflections will help encapsulate the key discussions, insights, and outcomes of this gathering, ensuring that the essence of today's deliberations is carried forward. Pomi Borwa is presently serving as a director of the Directorate of Higher Education, Government of Assam. She is a member of the Assam Civil Service and has held various significant administrative roles since joining in 2004. Her career trajectory includes positions such as Joint Secretary in the Health and Family Welfare Department and Deputy Secretary in the Environment and Forest Department. In her current role as a director since 20th August 2023, she oversees higher education administration in the state, working on initiatives to improve educational policies and institutional development. I would now like to invite Pomi Borwa to address the gathering.
A very good morning, good afternoon rather, to all of you. Our honored guests on the dais, Honorable Vice Chancellor of KKHSOU, Professor Rajendra Prasad Das, the chief guest of this occasion, Shri Diganto Bora, Commissioner of Police, Dr. Ritamani Bordagal, who is the convener of the national seminar, and of course Dola Borkotokina, who is the co-convener, and all the dignitaries, esteemed guests who are present here today. At the very outset, I would like to convey my gratitude to the organizers of this important workshop, because women in unorganized sector is a very important topic, because women have been forming the backbone of the unorganized sector since decades, since many years, since centuries. However, their contribution in the unorganized sector, as mostly everywhere, most of the time, goes unnoticed. I would like to congratulate all of you for being part of this important seminar, and I hope the takeaways, the insights that have happened in this national seminar will be useful for all of you, and will also give a fillip to the government and will help us in formulating policies that will go a long way in helping women in the unorganized sector. As Director of Higher Education, I have had some occasions where I could interact with women in the unorganized sector. I have been a civil servant with the Government of Assam since the year 2004. And of course, I have served in various capacities, including health. And the way Madam mentioned, COVID pandemic and its repercussions on women, especially in the unorganized sectors, I'm glad that that was taken up, because we have seen COVID upfront. And during that time, when so many migrant workers came back, and we saw the effect that it had on a lot of women who were involved in the unorganized sector as well. While in one of my journeys to Lower Assam area, and especially to certain areas where I had sent my team also, say in Dhubri, etc., we were trying to gauge the reason why there were such a lot of dropouts, especially in the higher education sector and in Dhubri and other areas, especially in terms of women. Then we realized that a lot of girls were dropping out. They would get enrolled for the first semester, but eventually they would just opt out of their studies. And this was basically, to help their parents work in the pickling, the pickling work that they were doing. They were making pickles, then they were making food processing, etc., in a very unorganized way. But these girls were expected to drop out because they had to work in that chili, pickle, little industry, whatever was there, and they were expected to dry the chilies outside, take care of them, bottle them in their own way, take them to the market, sell them. And as a result, there was this exodus of students from those particular pockets which were in Lower Assam area, which were, and they were involved in the unorganized sector of food processing and food industry. Similarly, when we went to Upper Assam, there also we saw that women were into weaving. They were, of course, everyone knows the contribution of women in the tea industry. So there we saw that a lot of women were working, they were also busy with street vending, selling vegetables and other things. And similarly, when we went to the Kachar areas, Barak Valley areas, Kachar, Karimganj and Hailakandi, it was seen that in the urban centers, like Silchar, women were employed as housemaids, caregivers, nannies, etc. They were expected to cook. Similarly, as we have in Guwahati or urban areas, you have them working as nannies, cooks, cleaners, and so many other things. And of course, their contribution in agriculture and cane and bamboo work. Now even when we work, when I take an evening walk or drive down Zoo Road, we see a lot of vegetable vendors, a lot of women selling fish, etc. So we see that these women are actually the backbone of the unorganized sector. When we go to a construction site, or when even we are traveling to Arunachal or towards the other northeastern states, that was way back in the year 2001. I saw a lot of women who would sit on top of a pile of rocks and they would hold the hammer on their hands and they would go, breaking those into small pebbles which were used for construction industry and also for the roads. And they invariably had a child tied to the back of their bodies with a piece of cloth to hold the child. Whether it be sunny or whatever, they would be there working. So from those days only, I would always think that we are crying foul, we are screaming and shouting and talking so much about discrimination that we, the so-called empowered ladies, face in our work profile. So what about those that are in the unorganized sector? Who is giving a voice to these women who are working out there? So there are a lot of issues involved. Of course, the women in the unorganized sector face various challenges, like the challenges have already been highlighted by the eminent speakers in the conference, such as the health issues, social security, what are the drinking facilities, what are the facilities we are giving to these women while they are working there, what about the security elements when these women are working, because they are, of course, the most marginalized and vulnerable sections of the society. So it is good that all these issues have come up, they have been highlighted, and of course the role of government, the role of civil society and the role of various organizations have also come up during the course of this national seminar. So we have realized in our journey in the education department that education skill building plays a major role while we are speaking about uplifting women who are organized, who are working in the unorganized sector. I'm glad that there was a very detailed session regarding the skill building aspect of women in unorganized sector as well. So awareness is an important I think takeaway from this seminar, and what we must focus on as within the government or outside it is that we should be able to bring all these to the women who are working in the unorganized sector, and especially in the rural areas where there is lack of awareness amongst a huge section of people, because even though there are laws to regulate the unorganized sector, but many are not aware. So who is the voice for these women out there? So I'm glad to be a part of, to have been called to be a part of the valedictory session today. I hope all of you will go back with wonderful memories from this. Thank you very much for inviting me to be a part of this.
Thank you, Pomi Borwa, for your insightful and inspiring speech. Your address has shed light on the challenges faced by women in the unorganized sector and the critical need for inclusive policies to empower them. Your thoughtful analysis and actionable ideas have provided us a renewed perspective on addressing these issues effectively. Sri Diganta Bora, an Indian Police Service officer from the 2004 batch, currently serves as a Commissioner of Police, Guwahati. Prior to that, he had served as a Deputy General of Police, Assam in Guwahati. Having taken over the present role in December 2022, he was awarded the Achiever 2020 in the field of public administration by the non-profit and non-government organization Enchanted Frontiers. Sri Diganta Bora is known for his commitment to public welfare and crime prevention. His career reflects a deep focus on administrative efficiency and public service in Assam, contributing significantly to maintaining law and order in various capacities. May I now invite Sri Diganta Bora, Commissioner of Police, Guwahati, who is also the chief guest for today's occasion, to deliver the valedictory address.
Respected Vice Chancellor of Krishnakanta Khandikoi State Open University, Professor Das, my colleague and University Junior and presently Director of Higher Education Government of Assam, Pomi, Madam Ritimani Borderlui, the convener of this seminar, Madam Borgatoki, co-convener of this seminar, my very good friend and classmate, Pranjit, your registrar of this university, esteemed guests and participants present here. Good morning to all of you. This is an academic session and this whole seminar is a deliberation on academic issues. And I was pleasantly surprised when I got a call from Madam Bordeloi asking me to be present here as a chief guest. And that too on a very, very important issue relating to women and women in unorganized sector. I was wondering why I was considered for this, because we don't do anything related to women in unorganized sector, their issues apart from crime. So when I was not even prepared, I did not even think what to talk about in this seminar. So I come completely unprepared. I was sitting here and I was going through the deliberations or the points mentioned by Madam Bordeloi, what exactly has happened during these 4 sessions since yesterday. And I was also going through what Pomi was saying. Pomi came prepared with a list of 2 pages. And she just kind of memorized everything and just dominated out. So there, I really face a dilemma whether I'll be able to do justice to this invitation or not. But even then, I'll try. I'll make this deliberation a little bit informal. I hope all of you can understand the local language, our mother tongue, Assamese. Okay, I'll be bilingual. Even though I say that we do not have anything to do with women in our unorganized sector, but being in the law enforcement agency, every day we face these kind of challenges. We have to deal with issues mainly related to women. And persons like you sitting in this hall, you won't even realize with what kind of issues, especially women victims come to us. Today morning when I woke up, the first message I saw in my mobile, because we have a system of reporting, morning reporting, whatever has happened during last night we get to know. The first message was about a gang rape that's being circulated in the media now. Gang rape of a woman. Probably she is a street worker. That took place a few days back. We were not sure when exactly this has happened. In the video, there are multiple videos. In the videos, few guys, mostly belonging to 20-25, that age group, they were brutally raping that women in turns. And this was shared to us last night at 2:30 a.m. by a good friend of us who works in a news channel. And we had to gear up our police machinery last night to get these culprits within no time so that the issue can be managed, the perpetrators can be brought to book so that it does not go beyond our control. And these kind of incidents are being reported every day in any police stations of our state or in the country. Now coming to these women issues, why we mainly focus on women? Because we consider that women is a weaker section. Even though our feminist friends, they do not accept this, but yes, from certain angles they are weaker. Maybe biological, maybe physical, or maybe the responsibilities they have to shoulder upon. And because of these issues, because of this aspect, a lot of policymakers or the thinkers or academicians, they deliberate upon the ways to improve upon the conditions of women in different sectors. And especially because of this aspect, recently the new set of criminal laws that have been introduced by the government of India, the Bharatiya Nyaya Sanhita, Bharatiya Nagarik Suraksha Sanhita, and the Evidence Act. In Nyaya Sanhita, that is the penal code, specially a chapter has been introduced specially to deal with crime related to women and children. So the importance given by the government, the importance given by the NGOs, importance given by the civil societies, it highlights the degree of severity of this issue. But to me, we do not have the dearth of legal framework, we do not have the dearth of policies. What we lack is the implementation part. Now within this hall, we will be deliberating upon ways to improve upon the condition of women. The moment we step out, we will forget everything. So what exactly we need is the implementation or the enforcement of the legal framework we have, of the policies we have. Then only there will be incremental improvement of the condition of women in our society. Now, even though this seminar is all about women in unorganized sector, if we take women collectively, do you think that educated or financially independent women do not suffer from these kind of issues? They equally do. Some of you will agree to it. In our police setup, Sometimes even our police constable, women constables, they have to go through a lot of traumas. From their bosses, from their colleagues. Even educated and financially independent women, they are silently tolerating the tortures from their spouses, from their in-laws. From my own experience dealing with this kind of issues, I can tell you, even today our society is not ready to let their daughters to go and report the torture or the crime they are facing. It is all because of the social stigma or the societal pressure. It is high time we need to create awareness among our sisters or any other women friends that please do not tolerate such type of treatment, be it from your spouse, be it from in-laws, from anyone. You take stand, you go and report to the authorities, you take recourse. So these type of awareness we need to create among ourselves so that the atmosphere is conducive. Why in the media it is always said that the crime against women is increasing day by day? Analytically or statistically, yes, but qualitatively not. These days, the reporting of crime is increasing because people like you, people like us, other people working in the NGO or in the media, they are highlighting these issues so that more and more women victims are coming forward and reporting these kind of crimes to the authorities. And because of that, statistically, we have higher numbers of crime reported. So this process is on. Incremental improvement will be there. So for that, we all have to work together. We cannot expect everyone to work towards the same direction. But yes, the majority of such people will be working to the same direction, and ultimately you will be able to create a society where these kind of issues will be at a minimum level. During my 20 years of police life, what I have seen, women suffer in silence. Women suffer within the four walls of the house. And the neighbors or the friends or other people, they do not come to know what is going on inside the house. And it is not only that among the lower economic strata people these kind of issues are happening, the same issues are taking place within those houses which are considered to be very high-fi, aristocratic or respected. So we cannot segregate that only these kind of families are meting out treatment to their women folks. Not like that. This is a general problem irrespective of their economic strata, irrespective of their social status, irrespective of their status in the society. From my personal experience, I'll tell you, a few of my classmates, they are going through a very difficult marriage. They are financially independent and they approach me for suggestions or some police support. So I asked them that why are you tolerating for so long? Why don't you take a stand and come out? Then they said, I wanted to come out long back. That time I did not receive the required support from my parents, from my brother. And now it is too late. And now at this point of my life, I don't know what to do. I don't even have the courage to come out now. So I don't know how many of our sisters are suffering like that. Especially in the unorganized sector, since the seminar is mainly related to unorganized sector. Why do we talk about unorganized sector? Because majority of our women workforce are working in the unorganized sector. Now, causes may be so many. Poverty. Poverty is one of the reasons why women folk have to go for work in these kind of sectors. Migration. Migration from the rural areas to the urban centers. Migration from one state to the other state, one country to the other country. And in migrate, among those kind of workforce which are migrated, they have this difficulty of lack of local support system. Suppose if women from Dhubri is coming and working here in Guwahati, they do not know anyone here. So they can be manhandled, they can be brutally tortured, they can be discriminated against, and they have no way to go to anyone asking for any support. Illiteracy. They have no way to work in some office or in the private sector. So they have to go for some manual work. Economic condition, illiteracy, these are the issues which force them to work in these kind of sectors. Now, what are the results? During this seminar, in different technical sessions, I was going through the schedule. There are topics like skills. There are topics like disparity in wages. These are actual issues which are taking place in this kind of workplace. Now, related to my own field, policing. The most important issue we face in unorganized sector among women are the sexual exploitation, sexual abuses. And why do they have to tolerate this? Because first thing they have to think about is their livelihood. If they report, then their livelihood will be lost. So they somehow silently tolerate this. Other issues like physical abuses. One of the most common unorganized sector where women work is the domestic help. Maid servant. And we get a lot of such complaints of physical abuses by the owners to their maid help. Trafficking. You must have seen in the media. A lot of girls are being taken from places like Kubrajhar, places like tea garden areas, places like Hemadi, where we have a lot of tribal population, to work in different states. And we do not exactly know what kind of work they are engaged in now. They may be sold to some prostitution racket. They may be sold to some agencies to work as a bonded labor. So these are realities. Now, how to get out of this whole vicious cycle? I don't know exactly. You being the academician, you'll be able to analyze the causes, analyze the way out, and finally recommend to the policy makers. But to me, I think literacy and financial independence somehow will empower our women folk to take a stand. Awareness about their rights, that if something bad happens to me, this is the forum I can approach to. Or my right is this. I will not allow anyone to take away this right from me. If the minimum wages is this, I'll claim that wage. I'll have to be paid this wage. If I have not paid this wage, I'll not work here. So somehow we'll have to create that environment, create that awareness among the women workforce so that they take stand, they demand their rights, and if their rights are not provided to them, then they back out. It's a very important topic on which this seminar was organized, and this was sponsored by National Commission for Women. With the Commission, we work hand in hand. Our officers go there, attend the workshops. They are members in other NGOs. They come to us, teach us, train us. So jointly, we have been working with a common goal. So I'm happy that academicians are also going in the same direction. Jointly, I'm sure and confident that incrementally we can improve upon the situation and we can anticipate or expect a better future for our women folk. I'm grateful to the KKH State Open University authorities for inviting me, for giving me this opportunity to interact with you. And I do hope that this seminar or the takeaways from this seminar will definitely have a positive bearing on the society, on the policymakers, and on the issues we have been deliberated upon. Thank you once again.
Thank you, sir. On behalf of everyone present here, I extend our deepest gratitude to Shri Digonta Bora for delivering such an engaging and insightful speech. Your insights have been both inspiring and enlightening, encapsulating the essence of our discussions and providing a compelling vision for the way forward. I would now like to request the Vice Chancellor of Krishnakanta Pondipuri State Open University, Professor Rajendra Prasad Das, to address the gathering.
Good afternoon. The chief guest of this valedictory session is Mr. Digant Bora, Commissioner of Police, Guwahati. Special guest, Madam Pomi Baruaji, Director of Higher Education, Government of Assam. Registrar of our University, Pranjit Varaji, Chairperson of the Organizing Committee, Jaideep Barua, Convener of the Seminar, Ritamani Bordoloi, Co-Convener, our faculty colleagues and staff, distinguished guests, research scholars, delegates from different institutions of the state, media friends, ladies and gentlemen. At the outset, I extend a very warm welcome to our chief guest, Digantji, for sparing his valuable time, and Pomiji, of course, but once she arrived here, she has been insisting that there is some meeting with Chief Minister, so she has to go. But I must express my gratitude to both of them that their presence in this valedictory function has been so informative, so encouraging, that I believe that the very objective of the organizing this seminar has been largely fulfilled. I think many issues have been discussed in the last 2 days. This seminar has been sponsored by National Commission for Women. National Commission for Women sponsored this program in different parts of the country, and our institution is fortunate enough that consecutively we are getting this seminar fund for organizing this seminar on various issues confronting women. And here, whenever we are organizing this seminar, we are not only discussing the issues confronting women in the state or northeastern state, but throughout the country. Actually, this issue is which we have identified for the women in unorganized sector. It is not confined to issues which we have discussed, and the issues which have been identified by both the speakers in this session and earlier session. This is not confined to Northeast. This is spread across the country. And if we go beyond the country, it is also prevailing, but in different forms. But as we are a country very conservative, even if we are very conservative, but whenever we look at the practices, the things are unbelievable. Yesterday there has been an elaborate discussion about laws relating to protection of women. We have, it has been yesterday I said, India is a country in the world which has the largest number of registered trade union. There is a difference between two, registered trade union and recognized trade union. But we have largest number of registered trade unions. But despite of that, only not more than 4% of the workers working in organized sectors are unionized. But whenever we look at people working in unorganized sector, their number is huge. And whenever we, again, if we look at it, the women working in unorganized sector, their percentage is almost more than 90% in comparison to the women working in the organized sector. Their percentage is around 6 to 7%. Almost 90% of the working women population are working in unorganized sector. Diganji has categorically, unexpectedly pointed out the issue. I do not think that other speakers have identified and outright clearly said before the gathering that what is really happening in the real life situation. It is not only happening, to the best of my knowledge, it is not only happening in the state of Assam or Northeast, it is happening all over the country. But one thing I must appreciate, that his remarks, that what is the requirement? The problem prevails. Problem is there, problem was there, but now problems should not be there. And we cannot remove the problem. Always we have to understand, we cannot remove the problem, but we have to reduce the problem. We may remove the problem, but it will take time. My observation is one. It is based upon the fact that even if India is a country in the world which has largest number of labor legislation, social security legislation for protection of people working in the different sectors, but India is a country in the world in terms of worst, in terms of labor laws administration. We are very poor in terms of administration of labor. Then what next? If the legislation, laws which are prevailing in the country are not doing what it is expected to do, then what is left out? That is what Diganji towards the end pointing out. That we have to be conscious of our rights, we have to be conscious of our rights, we have to be conscious of our duties, we have to change our attitude and approach towards the situation which prevails on this issue. So one of the things which we can do as an educational institution is to educate the people, to educate those unreached who used to be unreached because of non-availability of supports, facility and opportunities. In the last 35 years, after coming up of Indira Gandhi National University in 1985 and after the birth of Krishnakant Handikari State Open University in 2005, Government of Assam people of Assam, our university in particular, is working in this regard. And you will be happy to know that we have different programs for education of women. We have some MOOC programs also for education of women, especially focused upon the skill development. And after attending this program, I believe the organizers of this program and our faculty who have joined this program should seriously think about it. What role and responsibility we should have to overcome this issue, to solve this issue. Because always problem is due to the management of relationship. Whether it is male or female, it's a relationship. Like husband-wife relationship, employer-employee relationship, it is always delicate, complicated and complex. It can break any time on any issues. And if we want to strengthen this relationship, particularly these people working in different sectoral organizations in general and people working in unorganized sector, this issue can be well addressed, well managed by changing our attitude and approaches. This is possible through education. Ours is an open university established in 2005, and our motto is to reach the unreached, to educate those people who could not have thought of to be educated by formal means of education. In the last 18 years of our journey, we have educated more than 5 lakh people in the state who could have been otherwise deprived of higher education in their life. And whenever, I still remember, before coming to this place to join as Vice Chancellor, I had an opportunity to meet President of India. Her only advice to me was that, look Vice Chancellor, there are a huge number of women working in tea garden. They are not educated. You should devise some mechanism. You should address this mechanism, how to educate them. Indirectly, she was talking about this issue, which now I realize that how we have to address this issue. Only way, only alternative before the state, before the country is to educate the illiterate people, ignorant people who want to be educated but are deprived of education because of various reasons. But in our system, we provide education, quality education at affordable cost. I just place on record and for information of our chief guest that ours is a university. We have more than 60% teaching and non-teaching staff women. And you will be happy to know that in the last 5 years, our enrollment is around more than 1 lakh in the last 2 years, and out of them 60% of graduate students are women. So that itself gives a message that what we are doing here. And after attending this program, I wish that each one of us sitting here, each one of us working here has to think of this issue, because we have to understand what is the vision, what is the mission, what is our motto for which we are created, which we are born. And if at all we think of developing some program, some certificate program, some diploma program, some degree program, or some post-graduation program, some skill program, skill training program for those people who are deprived of their education, because of which they are ignorant of their rights, because of the ignorance of their rights, they are unable to do their duties. Because of the ignorance, because of their illiteracy, perhaps largely they are exploited, they are misused in their place of work. One thing is fact, we cannot be complete. We cannot run our system. Even we cannot run our family without the people of this unorganized sector, especially women. But look at it, what is the state of affair? What is the discussion going on? Each one of us know it, what Diganji said. Many a time it is not expressed. Silently everything is going on in everywhere, in every sphere. But they are unable to raise their voice, perhaps largely due to ignorance, largely due to illiteracy. We as an institution committed for education, development of the people, particularly the informal sector, have to think about this seriously, and let us think of the outcome of this seminar should give us some direction to evolve some mechanism through some certificate, through some diploma programs, through some skill development programs, so that we can also contribute to evolve some mechanism so that the problems which prevails in the society, in the state, in the country can be reduced to large extent. I am grateful to our Chief Guest, Diganji, for sparing his valuable time to share his practical thoughts on the issues which we have been given by identified by National Commission for Women, and the organizers of this program have organized it. I am also thankful to National Commission for Women for giving this opportunity to organize this seminar in our university, and I am thankful to all the people who are involved in making this program a grand success. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. I would like to extend my sincere thanks to the Vice Chancellor of Krishnakanta Pundikur State Open University, Professor Rajendra Prasad Das, for his unwavering support and meticulous efforts in ensuring the smooth conduct of the seminar. Your dedication and behind-the-scenes contributions have been instrumental in making this event a success. I would now like to request the co-convener of the seminar, Dr. Dola Borgatoki, to offer the formal vote of thanks.
Good afternoon. Honorable Chief Guest of the valedictory section of the two-day NCW-sponsored national seminar, Digandra Bora, IPS Commissioner of Police, Guwahati, Honorable Vice Chancellor of our University, Professor Rajendra Prasad Das, respected Registrar, Professor Pranjit Bora, esteemed dignitaries, invitees, and distinguished participants. Being the co-convener of this two-day national seminar on women in unorganized sector, it is a great honor and privilege for me to propose the vote of thanks on behalf of the organizing committee. At the very outset, I would like to express our profound gratitude to the National Commission for Women, New Delhi, for accepting our proposal and providing us with necessary financial support to organize this two-day-long national seminar. I, on behalf of our university, express our heartfelt thanks and gratitude to the Chief Guest of the inaugural session, Professor Rajiv Mohan Pant, Vice Chancellor, Assam University, Silchar, for gracing the occasion despite his extremely busy schedule, and also for his succinct, insightful, and thought-provoking inaugural speech. I would also like to offer my sincere thanks to Professor Vandana Upadhyay, Rajiv Gandhi University, for her excellent and comprehensive keynote address, which set the tone for the day-long deliberations that followed. We offer our sincere thanks and gratitude to all the 5 esteemed speakers of the technical sessions for their highly enlightening and engaging presentations, which have made this seminar a meaningful one. I am sure that all of us present here have been immensely benefited from their deliberations. I also take the honor of expressing our sincere appreciation and thankfulness to our Chief Guest of the valedictory session, IPS Diganta Bora, Commissioner of Police Guwahati, for accepting our request and gracing the occasion. His deeply insightful valedictory address today has made the 2-day-long seminar truly a success. I also offer my sincere thanks and gratitude to Madam Pomi Borua, Director, Directorate of Higher Education, Guwahati, Government of Assam, for honoring us with her presence and also for her enriching address in the valedictory session. I, on behalf of each and every member of the organizing committee, would like to convey our deep regards and heartfelt thanks to our Honorable Vice Chancellor, Professor Rajendra Prasad Das, for his constant encouragement, continuous guidance, and unflinching support to make this seminar a satisfying as well as a rewarding experience for all of us. Thank you so much, sir. I owe a sincere thanks to the Registrar of our University, Dr. Pranjit Bora, for his constant support in all possible manners to make this seminar a grand success. Hearty thanks also goes to the members of the core committee as well as all the other committees constituted for organizing this seminar for their valuable contribution in organizing this seminar. I thank each and every member of the university fraternity for their support in organizing this seminar. I convey my gratitude to the media for evincing interest in covering our seminar. Lastly, I once again thank all the members of the KKHSOU fraternity, our colleagues, EMPC and the IT cell for their enormous cooperation in the smooth conduct of the seminar. Once again, I thank you all for making this seminar a successful one. Thank you. There is a small announcement. On behalf of the organizing committee, we would like to offer a small token of appreciation to Dr. Trisha Dwara Borua for her excellent anchoring during this 2-day-long national seminar. I request Dr. Ritimoni Bordole, convener of this seminar, to kindly felicitate Dr. Trisha Dwara Borua. A big round of applause for Dr. Trisha Dwara Borua. Thank you all once again. Have a great day ahead.